Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Paradigm Paradox, continuing Tokyo's route. Probably going to get our ending today, because it's like the 5th hour, and that's usually what happens, and there are no more choices left. So yeah, this will probably be our end, so. I don't share the same opinion as the commander, Tokyo, because the commander was just asking, we just went over the plan with everybody, and the commander was like, hey, how about your powers? And I'm like, not mine are fine. He's like, oof, bad luck for Tokyo then. And you're like, huh? Because obviously, like, oh, it's bad luck for him because he fell in love with you and you're not in love with him. So I feel like that's what Ayamu's saying here. Is like, I don't agree with him. I think she loves you too. What do you mean? I got to thinking after seeing the two of you yesterday. She also seems... You don't have to try and back me up here. I don't want any false hope. Besides, my feelings won't change no matter what Spacey thinks of me. If you say so, but I'm still worried. Commander, you brushed it off earlier, but I think you've always thought there was something special about her. Ever since she joined the Blooms, Ever since she joined the Blooms, I felt like you've treated her differently than us. Maybe Perhaps her powers affect her differently. Like how she doesn't have our side effects. Like how the commander's all, like, shocked, like... But I don't think the commander, like, is 100%... I don't think he knew if our powers would deteriorate if I fell in love or not. Because what they know is that if you fall in love, your powers deteriorate. Which is the weirdest, dumbest side effect ever, but, like, okay. For the purposes of the game, sure, it's so that that's how they get rid of their powers and whatever. Ours don't, but he doesn't know, because what they're used to is this is what happens to powers. Mine don't do that. Mine go against that, and how would they know that? Because I'm different, you know? The night passed without incident. We all gathered the next day in the same room. Sana and Mocha came, just as they promised. First, allow me to give you an answer on behalf of myself and Mocha. We shall join in your plan. We are the only ones who can stop the researchers, after all. And if you end up having trouble, I'll be there to help out. Quite right. Failure's not an option. That's why we shall assist you. Determination shone in their eyes, and I'd never seen their smiles look so bright. Thank you both. I know there are things you both need to do, so I'll be sure to keep them in mind. I won't let you down, so let's work together to make this plan a success. Are we embarking immediately? Yes. Well, I have to explain something first. Our goal is to stop the researchers from turning people into vectors. I plan to use hypnosis to make them forget they ever conducted that research in the first place. Wow, bold move. And though it means the plan is all the more precarious because of your powers. That's why Spacey's gonna cast Augment on me. I'll be able to do it with her help, even if my powers are fading. Kind of like how we helped Kamui as Sana, like, cast a power on everybody to think everything was good in their minds. Like a shared dream. Just leave it to me. I'll give you all the support I can. Tokyo didn't contact me last night, so I focused on resting up like he asked. I was ready and raring to go. Sana, Mocha, and I will distract them while Tokyo's team casts hypnosis. We'll also destroy the research data. Commander, Rio, you'll be able to take us to where they store the records, right? Yeah. I have a good idea where they keep everything. I'm sure I can tell you how to find it. Okay. Well, let me just give you the info I got earlier. I found this when I was investigating Hyuga. I'll forward it to you. Tokyo tapped his phone, and Rio quickly scanned through the information he received. You certainly did your research. I never want to get on your bad side. I can't fail, so I had to be thorough. That's all I got. Does anyone have any more questions? This is your last chance to ask them. We responded with silence. Everyone had already made up their minds. And so we finally set out for the research district, the place of our final battle. Let's end this vicious cycle. I like that they're not just gonna, like, bust shit up. They're gonna go, I forgot that he has hypnosis, you know what I mean? Heimu and I transformed on the way to the research district, though Tokyo remained in his regular form. The two of us led the way while Tokyo addressed everyone.
When we get there, Ayame will deal with the researchers while we head straight to our destination. I don't want any unnecessary fights. Try to act as if nothing's wrong so that no one will suspect anything. The Blooms are just visiting an unofficial business. Think you can pull it off?
I'll certainly try my best. To be honest, I was a terrible liar. My worry must have been evident because Tokio caught my eye and smiled.
That's right. Your honesty's one of your best qualities, Spacey. How about this? If the researchers ask you anything, just look at my face. That's doable, right?
Yeah, I can manage that. I wonder, whenever Tokio looks at me, I get all flustered, but I also feel strangely relieved. It was certainly a confusing mix of emotions. Tokio continued on without pause.
Here's our exit. It's about time I transformed. Alright, let's go.
Yeah. Now wasn't the time to stew over my bewildering emotions. I refocused on the task before us. I felt helpless about what had happened with Lizzie and Taiki. The least I can do is make sure what happened doesn't become just some sad footnote in history. I want to make sure it won't happen again. No. It's my responsibility to make sure. I want to create a brighter future for everyone. Holding that determination in my heart, I went through the hidden passageway. Once we exited the passageway, we passed through the command center and headed toward the researchers. We'd been here numerous times before, so no one would think our visit was out of the ordinary. Oh, hello! You don't have any tests today, do you?
No.
They were called in, so we're bringing them over. Rio made a vague excuse, and we managed to get by without arousing suspicion. After walking a little while longer, we came to a place I recognized. Kaori took me here before. This is where they brought all the people who got attacked. Suddenly, memories of Lizzie turning into a vector flooded my mind, but I didn't freeze up in fear. I'm here so that will never happen again. I don't know what my bird is doing. He was bugging me for my hand, so I've got my hand sitting here, but then he's like, foot on my hand, and then he's like, no, foot over here, and then foot over here, and they'll bite over here, and then do this, and he's just like, really like, being fidgety and weird, but like, in a funny kind of way. You're being silly. She's being silly, boy. It's like, you don't know how to snuggle right now. There's so much birdie dandruff on my lap. There's so much birdie dandruff on my legs. It does. It's gross. I know, buddy. I know. You're molting so bad. People probably think you're molting all the time because we do a fuck ton of videos and we talk about how you're molting, but, you know. You do have a lot of pin feathers, though. Yeah, I know. There's a lot around your head and you won't let me get them out. Anyway.
Let's get started.
All right. We shall take action if anyone tries to interfere with you. Now go wreak some havoc. You got it.
Commander, Rio, you can start destroying the data. We'll back you up.
Copy that. We'd better hurry. Let's start with that machine.
That's what you meant. I guess it's quick.
What are you people doing? A researcher stumbled upon us and shouted when they saw us destroying the machines with our powers. Kaori, let me cast Augment.
Got it, thanks. I'll use hypnosis now.
I tried to keep up as Haruka and the others sprung into action. What was going on again? Kaori unleashed hypnosis and confused all the researchers around us. Seems her powers hadn't faded yet.
We should use this opportunity to destroy any data they may have stored elsewhere. I should be able to find out where they keep backups if they're hypnotized.
You know, it'd be really funny, like, and how fucked up it would be, like, Part 2, Paradigm Paradox 2, you know, I don't think this game would ever get a second one. As much as I'm enjoying it, you know. But it's one of those, like, where if oh yeah, we destroyed the lab and everything, but then there's some file somewhere, and then 20 years later, someone finds it, and they're like, oh, you know what I mean? But how did we not know what happened? And then, you know, they put it all together. You know there's going to be something left somewhere. That's how you get sequels.
Got it. Let's head farther down. I conduct the actual experiments up ahead.
Then let's go. When we entered the next room, all the researchers looked up at us. What are you doing here? I turned upon hearing the sharp exclamation and saw the elderly researcher I'd met many times before.
You really want to know? Okay then. We're her to do this.
My word, did you just cast hypnosis? Looks like they're under your spell now. I made sure hypnosis had worked on all the researchers and let Kaori know. She still looked tense.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I think more will show up. There's no way they wouldn't have heard all that noise.
We heard more loud banging sounds coming from where Haruka and the others were. No point in sneaking around anymore. I strained my ears and heard footsteps running in our direction, just as Kaori predicted. We'll handle getting rid of the data. Just focus on casting hypnosis. Asena, Mocha, help me with this. We don't really know what's what, so I guess the best course is just to blast it all. I shall leave destroying the backups to you. Who knows how many there are. All right. Jeez, all of you are such taskmasters. Ryu and the others had caught up to us and began destroying the research data. Kaori and I focused on casting hypnosis. I'm half distracted because every once in a while I can manage to get some of the bird's pin feathers, so I'm like multitasking pin feathers and reading. I'm trying to be very gentle because then he bites. Let me know when augment fades and I'll recast it immediately. Thanks! I touched Kaori's arm so that I was ready to cast at a moment's notice. I then turned my attention at the footsteps thundering toward us. Ow! You need me to help you. You can't get those. I lost count of how many times we cycled through casting hypnosis and augment. Kaori, are you all right? Kaori fell to her knees and I quickly dashed forward to help her up. She looked like she did during our previous mission. I studied her face, worried. Now you just bit me for no reason. I wasn't even trying to get your pin feathers. And that hurt a lot, so now I'm not gonna snuggle you. Can you not use your powers anymore?
That's part of it. But I think I also overdid it. I use so much that I'm sleepy.
Sleepy? I didn't expect her to say that.
Well, this is the price you pay when you overuse hypnosis. What's different from normal sleep?
What price? You're saying that turning into a woman isn't the only thing?
That's the side effect. This is... Oh, now's not the time to explain.
Kaori shook her head back and forth to try and wake up.
Anyway, the next time I can cast hypnosis will be the last. That'll be a big one, so I'll need everything you can give me.
Got it. I'll cast Augment, assuming it's our biggest push.
Timing will be the most important. I'll be using the last of my powers, so I'm going to undo my transformation.
What? You can use hypnosis without transforming? I didn't think something like that would be possible. I looked at Kaori quizzically. Well, Ayumu and... Tokio were born like this, so their powers might act differently.
I can harness the power I use to transform for hypnosis, right after undoing my transformation. And it's only for a moment. The power accumulates in our charms as a failsafe. I guess the commander forgot to explain that to you.
Yeah. This is the first I've heard of it, but won't it be hard for us to time it right?
I'll give you a signal. On the count of 3, cast Augment. Right at that moment, I'll cast Hypnosis and cover the entire research district. I'm pretty sure I got most of the researchers already, but better to be safe than sorry.
Kaori grinned at me, and I returned it with a smile of my own. Let's do this. I'm gonna give it my all.
Sounds good. Let's go.
We grasped each other's hands and concentrated.
1, 2, 3.
I cast Augment the second I heard Kaori say 3, and a bright light engulfed us. I've got to stay focused or I'm going to pass out. Does this mean we're both using our full power? The sheer brightness of the light forced me to close my eyes. Kaori's hand gave me a sense of groundedness, and I managed to remain calm. However, unleashing such a large amount of power was bewildering. The light shined for what felt like an eternity, but right when I started to feel anxious, it gradually faded away. Is it over? I could sense the light had disappeared, so I cautiously opened my eyes and saw Tokio.
Yeah, take a look.
Tokio pointed to the researchers we'd previously confused. They'd all fallen to the floor. Huh?
Don't worry, they're just unconscious.
I was still reeling from surprise as Tokio went to check on them one by one.
My hypnosis overwrote their consciousness, so I guess it knocked them out. I'll have forgotten everything by the time they wake up. Well, about their genetic research, that is.
So it's really over.
Yeah, we did it.
If you were gonna perform such a powerful move, you could have at least told us first. Seriously. He probably didn't have any time. Look, he's not even transformed anymore. Sana, Mocha, and Rio all began to crawl out from where they'd taken cover. They all hid. I'm sure that blinding light freaked them out.
Sorry, Mocha's right. I didn't have any time to warn you. It's all well that ends well, right?
Tokio explained it all so matter-of-factly. Then we heard footsteps from the adjoining room.
That's it, right? Tokio, how are you feeling?
You sure made a scene. I'd hate to hear it's not over after all that.
I used so much more of my power that my transformation came undone. Well, because of that, the plan worked. You can rest assured.
What worked now? That was quite a spectacle, but I suppose that's not what you meant. Neither Haruka nor the commander had responded to Tokio. We all turned and saw it's interesting that Moravia is here. Moravia? Why are you here? Moravia? How did you get in? Sana, Mocha, and Haruka readied for battle the second they set eyes on Moravia. But Moravia didn't move a muscle. She simply stood there calmly. I was bored, so I came to see what you were up to. It was quite easy to get in thanks to you all. And it's a good thing I did swing by. As I said, you put on a good show.
A show? Are you here to insult us? At the very least, we have some unfinished business to take care of.
Tokio began to move toward Moravia, so I nervously called out to him. What are you doing?
I just need to check something with Moravia. No matter how strong Moravia is, she's at a disadvantage coming here by herself. Besides, you had no intention of fighting. Isn't that right?
I suppose that's true. Is it what you wanted to say? Tokio looked Moravia directly in the eye and spoke quietly and evenly.
I just put an end to the research project that created the vectors. But I haven't forgotten the vectors that already exist. If I create a world that's good for the vectors as well, could you stop attacking humanity?
Good for the vectors. It was certainly a surprising proposal, not just to me, but to everyone present. I definitely didn't see that coming. It's an intriguing idea for sure. Moravia stared carefully at Tokio's face as she took a moment to think. After a while, she spoke. If you're serious, then I wouldn't mind calling a truce to see what kind of world you'll make.
But humans are
foolish creatures. You might soon find your efforts to be all for naught.
I'll correct things again if I have to. I'll never give up.
At first I was surprised by what Tokio said, but I quickly realized that I also felt the same way. I can't view the vectors as the enemy anymore. I want to try and find a way we can all live together, just as Tokio said. Again, this one does definitely transition well into going down the vector routes. I'm still happy the way we did it, because I didn't mind Ayamu's route, despite Otome Kitten's thoughts on it. Yeah, he was a little weird with his sister, but I think it was more overprotective, and some of the lines were a little like, but I like Tokio's route. I'm enjoying this. I like him a lot. I think it would have been a downgrade to go from this to, like, Yukonami and Hyuga, to be fair. But this would transition nicely into going into Ibuki's route, which is the one we will do next after this, so. If we can accept that fighting vectors is out of the question, then we may be able to figure out a solution where no one gets hurt. Even if there comes a day where we think it was all for nothing, I don't want to give up without trying first. I stepped up next to Tokio to show my solidarity. I won't let the same mistakes get repeated. I don't want there to be any more victims like Lizzie and Taiki. Nor do I. I'm sick of seeing such sacrifices, both for humans and the vectors. I won't attack the vectors even if I'm ordered to. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Right. The blooms won't continue if everyone here feels the same way.
Sana, Mocha, and Haruka moved to stand next to us. We all exchanged glances, and I could tell we were all on the same page. This is one thing we can agree on. Is there anything else you want to know? Rio questioned Moravia, but she simply shrugged. Go ahead and try all you want. I don't want to see those children unnecessarily hurt, so I'll stand back and watch for the time being. By the time we realized that those children were the Vectors, Moravia was already turning to leave. Moravia, I promise I'll see this through, so please trust us and wait. I shouted this promise to her as she walked away, which caused Moravia to pause for a moment. Moravia turned and gave me the brightest smile I'd ever seen before she vanished. I wonder, will she truly stay quiet?
Not just her, but what about Hyuga and Yukonami? What do you think, Tokio? I think Moravia will keep her promise. And when she says she'll stand back and watch, that must include keeping Hyuga and Yukonami in line.
So in short, you believe her?
She believed in what I said, though she put a time limit on it. But I'll do it. We'll make sure to create a world where Vectors and humans can live freely before that time limit's up.
Together. I smiled at Tokio while saying that, and he smiled back.
That's exactly right.
All right, now let's make out. We've never gotten to kiss this man. I need to kiss this man. A few weeks later, as Tokio said, the researchers who carried out the genetic engineering had their memories wiped. The research district was in chaos for a while because all the destroyed machines had to be cleared out. The commander in Rio treated it like a major accident happened, so there wasn't as much confusion as there could have been. Although it took some time, everything was back to normal. At least that's what the researchers thought. They all believed that they were conducting research on improving the environment like before, so they didn't even know their data was gone. Tokio had also begun to put even more effort into his own environmental improvement research. He told me he wanted my help today, but with what, I wonder? I wanted to contribute in some way, so I was glad he called for me, but he gave me no hint as to what I'd be doing. Falling in love. He's probably here. Yep, there he is. I peeked through the open door and saw Tokio hard at work. Hey, Tokio! Sorry to keep you waiting. I went inside the room and Tokio flashed me a big smile.
I wasn't waiting long, and I should apologize for calling you out here on your day off.
It's okay. You can call me anytime. And I'm sorry I haven't been able to help with much. So, what would you like me to do?
Before that, there's something I want to try out.
Wait, is that your charm? I took a closer look at what was in Tokio's hand. Sure enough, it was the charm he used to use. I love it. It's a magical girl wand.
Hold on just a sec. I guess I can't transform after all.
Didn't you say you lost your powers? I was surprised Tokio tried transforming at all. He fiddled with the charm in his hand as he continued.
They're not entirely gone. I was hoping I'd still be able to cast hypnosis, even in this state. Well, I'm sure it'd be much weaker than anything I cast as Kaori.
Ah, so you want me to use an augment to help? Tokio nodded, confirming that my guess was correct.
Exactly. But I'm not going to use it on a person. I'm going to cast it on the plants. It's more like encouragement than mind control. My aim's to help them grow even in the current environment. I think it'll work if you cast Augment Spacey. What do you think?
That's amazing! What an incredible idea, Tokio! Never occurred to me to try hypnosis on plants. I love the fact that he's like, I'm just going to encourage them. I'm going to get into their little plant brains and be like, you can do it, guys! Woo! Like, how fucking adorable.
Yeah, well, I only thought of it because my powers have become so weak. So maybe it's not a bad thing after all.
Yeah. I remembered I still had something to ask him. Hey, speaking of which, why did your powers fade?
The commander said it wasn't because...
Oh, the commander said it wasn't because we went to Iota, but both of you were worried about my powers as well. So I was wondering if it had something to do with my powers. It was just something I thought of off the top of my head, but Tokio heaved a deep sigh in response. Oh, you're gonna have to tell me you love me.
I wanted to talk to you about that today, too. That's why I asked you to come over when other people wouldn't be around. Do you feel anything when we're alone together, Spacey?
What do you mean? I started to realize how alone we were, which made me feel increasingly nervous. My face even began to burn as physical proof of my feelings. How am I supposed to answer that? Like he kind of knows. I was completely flustered, and Tokio looked at me with a concerned expression. He reached out and placed his hand to my cheek. His palm radiated warmth, enveloping me in a dizzying heat.
You turn red so easy. It's difficult to tell. I thought it'd be easy to see because you don't hide how you feel. But right now, I can't seem to discern the most important emotion.
Most important emotion? I was confused, but Tokio quickly changed the subject.
There are two people like us with powers who fell in love in the past. But that was considered taboo because our powers vanish if we fall in love.
Oh?
I assumed you didn't know. The commander didn't exactly explain it either.
Yeah, two people like us who fell in love there. Yeah, and they were my parents. Well, this new information shocked me. It's true the commander told me that romantic relationships were not allowed when I joined the Blooms. What happened to those people?
Rumor has it they decided to be together and lost their powers. When I heard the story, I thought that something like that would never happen to me. Considering the mission I'd been tasked with, there was no way I'd put love first. But reality is different, isn't it? It's not a matter of priorities. By the time I realized it, I was already so head over heels that there wasn't even a choice.
I love this so much. After hearing all that, I knew what he was getting at. No one would mistake it, no matter how dense they were. I love her. She's like, I'm not that dense. I get it. Good for you, girl. Oh, look, he's blushing. It's kind of adorable. Oh, his face is so beautiful.
I've fallen for you, Spacey. That's why my powers faded. My air powers haven't changed at all, so I thought it was all on my side. But why do you turn red when I touch you? How do you really feel?
I also love the fact that, okay, it's not only that, like, you're thinking, oh, when you fall in love, your powers fade, but your powers haven't faded, so clearly you don't fall in love with me. But then this little robot over here is like, but you turn all bright red, which would indicate that you like me, but your powers haven't faded, and I don't know, and I can't understand. And it's not just because it's a confusing situation. Your powers haven't faded, so I would assume you don't like me, and I'm a little confused. A normal person. Then you're adding little robot Tokio on top of it, and it's just so much more adorable. Even though I was expecting it, he asked the question so directly, I hesitated a bit. Tokio's in love with me? And falling in love makes you lose your powers. But my powers are still here. My heart feels like it'll fly out of my chest when you touch me, and I get all flustered when you look at me. But it's also so comforting to be with you. Isn't that love?
Why are you asking me? These are your feelings. Only you know the answer. If you're worried about losing your powers, then try to stop thinking about me. Liamu just might be right about you.
What did he say?
He heard from the commander you might be special in some way. The commander still hasn't confirmed it either way, so we don't know the truth. Maybe you're evolved so you can fall in love and not lose your powers. So try thinking about yourself first. Then tell me what you think of me.
Evolved? I didn't think I was special at all, but Tokio's theory made me want to seriously consider it. But again, he put the story about, oh, there was a rumor about these people. That's our parents, no question, come on. I looked back at all that had happened between us and realized the answer had been in front of me all along. I think I fell for you the day I realized I wanted to be closer to you. But love was the last thing on my mind then, so it took a long time for me to understand what my feelings actually were. I think there's no mistaking it, though.
The way you don't sound too sure has me a little worried. Would you like to maybe try something?
Oh my god, you better kiss me. Try what?
Liz, but just tell me if you don't want to.
After that, he gently tilted my chin upward. It was clear now what he meant, even to me. For a brief moment, I felt like running away. But that was purely out of embarrassment. I wanted to be exactly where I was. I don't mind in the least. Oh, I love it. Our lips touched softly as if one of us might break. A sensation I'd never felt before came over me, leaving no question in my mind. I love you. I've just never felt this way before.
That's new for me, too.
As we pulled apart, Tokio whispered to me,
So long as we're together, I'm sure we'll experience many wonderful things. And I know we can accomplish anything we put our minds to. So I hope that one day we'll see it together. A real blue sky.
Stop it. So precious. I love it so much. Well, this is, I would say a fairly short part because the other one went a little over, but, Doot. Oh. Yeah, let's see. So that one's got 2. And then the hug and the kissy one has 2. Okay, the sleep one, the hug one, and the kiss one. Okay, so that's fine. So the rest of them have 1. So, yeah, no. I love him. And I love little glasses him. And I'm so glad his sprite had glasses. It's like fucking perfect. I don't think any of the CGs had glasses or whatever, you know? But like, ugh. He's so adorable. This one was good. I like this one a lot. I think he's my favorite. Oh, actually, that's true. This one does have glasses. Ah! Look at, he's so precious. He's got a really good profile, I'm not going to lie. Perfect profile. I'm curious to see what Otome Kitten thought of him. Oh, it's true. I forgot we got this one. Oh. He's just a robot. I love our little robot. Ugh. I just love his face in this one. It's beautiful. They did really good. I mean, yeah, he's got like a side profile on almost all his things, but like, it's so adorable. But the problem is now when we do this, it's going to go back. So we're going to have to like, there you go. That's perfect. But anyway, okay. Yeah, Kaori was my favorite magical girl, both in looks and personality. I know Kaori really is fun. I do think Mocha's beautiful though. But I like Kaori's little puppet faces that she makes. She's so cute. It's funny how her character's nature hugely differs from Tokio's actual and passive persona. Hey, that's right. All of it. Right. I said that before, didn't I? Like, she's very take charge, go get, and then Tokio's over there like, whatever, sleeping in the corner. And I was like, it's so bizarre. It was never really explained in detail why all 4 guys' personalities changed when they turned into their magical girl form. A lot of things in this game are left unexplained. Tokio's route was all right. It wasn't anything memorable. His route probably had the most revelations about on the Bloom side. These CGs are gorgeous. Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. I feel like she might not have actually really like, yeah, the game's okay. You know what I mean? To be fair, yeah, I mean, the game's kind of quick and short, and I think there's a lot of detail in it. I really do. I think there's a lot of like plot and thought and story, but they just kind of like stuffed it in. You know what I mean? Like they did, like a lot of games will be like, okay, here was this plot and the story, and then they kind of hash it out and they do a lot of world building and they do a lot of detail and a lot of depth and a lot of filler and like they do a lot with it. And this one's like, okay, here's our like a rough draft that they turned into a game where they could have done a game twice as long, roused so much more deep, and they could have enhanced it and fluffed it and built it and made it so much more. But they just kind of like, we have a really good idea, and then they just kind of quickly did it. You know what I mean? It's almost like they were in a pitch meeting and they had a bunch of different ideas, and like they took one of them and made the really big budget, expensive game where they put a lot of effort into it, a lot of writing, a lot of story, and then the other ones they were like, okay, half the budget, to make it quick, just kind of like do something with it, and like this was the do something with it. You know where I mean? It's like the rough draft, and they're like, good enough. And to be fair, I'm not complaining about it. We got boys that turn into magical girls. Good enough for me. Sold. And if I'm going to compare it to some of her other games, you're going to compare it to like some of the, like, you know, Code Realize, which, you know, Radiant Tail, which I compare everything to now because it's my favorite game now. You know, you compare it to Pio Fiore or Color X Malice. I know everybody's favorite ones. To be fair, I still like this one better. I know. It's not that I didn't enjoy Color X Malice, okay? I did at the time, but afterward, it's not a game I want to go back and replay, because all I remember, especially from the fan disc, is my justice, my justice, my justice, 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 my justice, and my justice, and my justice. And I'm gonna let my justice, I swear to God, if I have to read the word justice one more time, I'm gonna punch a bitch. Like, it got really annoying really fast. But that is a game. What the hell, Bird? It's okay. It's just the people next door making lots of noise. You're fine. You're okay. It's just the construction people. What's going on? He's like freaking out like he sees something. The only thing I can say is the construction people across the street are making a lot of noise, but it's okay. What's the matter, buddy boo? You're alright. I don't know what you're freaking out about. What? Oh, he's freaking me out. Anyway, but you know what I mean? At any rate, I do think a lot of people are probably going to compare this to games like that and be like, oh, this game. But for what it is, I don't think it's bad at all for what it is. It's not like oh my god, the most impressive game ever. Obviously not, to be fair, but there's nothing wrong with it, and I'm enjoying it for what it is. So, I do feel like it seems like she doesn't pretty much enjoy any of the routes, but I'm glad that we're reading like the little kind of synopsis of the characters themselves after the fact. But you gotta go potties? What? I just figured you needed. You just get really fidgety and weird. I don't know what your problem is. What? What is your problem? It's like he sees something, but like, is it just the sun in the window? Like, what is your deal? What do you see? What's freaking you out? What's going on? You see ghosts? Don't see ghosts. I don't want ghosts in my house. Do you see ghosts? What's the matter? I can only hear like the game music, so I have no idea what he's freaking out about. He's being bizarre. Anyway, but yeah, so I like it for what it is so far. Hey guys, editing Spacey here. So unfortunately, when I was trying to give the bird a break while I was recording the ending to this part, my headset got all concocted and half unplugged, so everything sounded like gibberish. So basically, just missed the end. So anyway, I was just saying that I really like the way everything was so far, and I was just kind of wrapping this up, saying we will finish Tokyo's route in the next part, and then do all of the other side story things, the other reports and stuff like that. So anyway, that's all you really missed, but it got all half cut off and sounds like garbled mess. So just wanted to pop in here and say that. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.